going to shift gears now and talk about KRBL, the world's largest exporter of basmati rice as well, now live with us. The stock higher by more than 20% in the last 1 month as well. You've got the earnings report card that has also come out. There's been a strong export boost for KRBL, and in fact, for on rice manufacturers, data that came out from the Commerce Ministry too. Ashish Jain, the CFO of KRBL, now here with us live on ET Now. Good morning. What we've seen in the first quarter, and one goes to the fine print, strong performance by the company, over a 47% jump in revenue year on year, aided by, of course, the domestic market. Going forward now, what are demand and volumes looking like? There's, of course, been supply disruptions that have been at play, export bans, countries that have started to look inward.
Sure. So just a small correction, the 47% revenue growth that you refer to was for our domestic business. The overall sales grew by 20% year on year. Now, in terms of how we see the future, so let me just lay out a couple of trends that we are seeing. One is that both in exports as well as in domestic market, the demand continues to be buoyant, right? So we are in the domestic market, we are witnessing strong growth in volumes. The second aspect to this is, of course, that the rice prices have continued to be high. So both these factors translate into sales growth. In exports, we had a distribution challenge in one of our major markets, which we solved earlier this year. And after that, sales are coming back on track. The way we see the rest of the year is that we expect the demand buoyancy to continue. Now, prices, as I mentioned, are high. A bit of what the price will depend upon is really the crop. As you know, the principal season for harvesting basmati is at the end of the year, which is October to December. From what we hear so far, there's around a 13% deficiency in the area that's been sown under basmati. This is as of reports of early August. So clearly, the production may get impacted. However, overall, we expect the demand buoyancy to continue.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about that? If on ground, your channel checks are showing this, the deceleration that you are, what will it mean for KRBL?
See, as of now, we don't see any de-acceleration in demand. As our quarter one numbers grow, domestic demand continues to be strong. So as of now, we are not seeing any de-acceleration.
Mr. Jain, good morning. Avan as well joining in. Let's also understand what the outlook is when it comes to paddy sowing so far, because that's down nearly 13% from last year. Production as well is likely to be close to 15 to 20% lower than the government estimates. Will the domestic rice price rise in the short term? Will we see a rise? And can we expect, will the higher input cost dent margins?
No, so you're right. The reports available as far as early August do show a overall 13% shortfall in the area sown under rice. However, let me clarify there that we do not expect the basmati production to get impacted. In fact, there is an expectation that that crop should rise by 25% year on year. But yes, on the non-basmati side, any shortfall in demand can impact prices. However, having said that, it needs to be understood that the government has maintained sufficient stocks of rice. So as and when those are released in the market, that will act as a countering force to the lower expected production this year.
Okay. And exports on a sequential basis have risen quite smartly, nearly 73% in the con call as well. The company mentioned that the impact of Europe due to the pesticide restriction has been felt. Do you see this pressure continuing over the next few quarters?
Yeah, so, like I mentioned, India's exports of rice have been buoyant. I think last year was a record year. And even if you see the quarter one performance of rice export from India, that's been very strong. It's just that KRBL had a company-specific challenge in terms of distribution, which we resolved. So if your question is on the outlook for KRBL export, we definitely expect far stronger performance in exports this year as compared to last year.
Basmati rice segment, how has that performed? It accounts, I know, for a very small portion, but you seem to be focusing a lot on this segment. So what kind of growth and sales mix can we see?
Yeah, so KRBL, as you know, principally focuses on basmati. We are the largest branded basmati exporter out of India. The majority of our domestic rice sales also come from basmati. So, like I mentioned, the category itself is doing well. The production is expected to grow year on year. So, in the short run, we don't see any challenges for basmati per se.
Okay, and what about your CAPEX plans, expansion plans for FY23? What's lined up?
Sure. Yeah, so we are in the process of setting up 3 plants. They're at various stages of land acquisition, construction, etc. Our strategy behind this expansion is really twofold. One is to increase our basmati capacity, and the second is that we believe that India Gate as a brand offers certain benefits to the customer. Primarily in terms of offering very high quality rice and aged rice. We believe that those benefits are also in demand by consumers on non-basmati rice. So one of the plants that we're setting up is going to focus exclusively on non-basmati. So overall, these 3 plants, we expect a CAPEX of around 200 crores, and we expect these to go live over FY24, FY25, and help us extend our gains even in the non-basmati space.
Okay, we're going to leave it at that. That's KRBL for you, one of the buzzers. A strong performance in the first quarter as well. The numbers were released last week.